Namaste. So today's episode is the last episode because in this episode I will be talking about Rahu in the 12th house. Rahu in the 12th house is a very special placement. It is highly spiritual if the person is an evolved soul. If the person has a certain planetary aspects that signify that he or she has a certain depth of understanding. However, the same Rahu in 12th house can cause much harm if the person is a shallow person. Shallow person means person who just follows his head. Shallow person means a person who just loves to comment negatively and hurt others. Basically a cheap person. A person who tries to act over smart. These kind of people eventually go to hell. And then there are some beautiful men and women who are the real seekers. You know one thing? Buddha always wanted seekers and not believers. It happened that in the morning a man came and asked Buddha, "Do you believe in God? Is there God?" Buddha said, "No, there is no God." Because that man was an atheist. In the afternoon, a man came and asked, "Do you believe in God? Is there God?" Buddha said, "Yes, there is God." Because that man was a believer, a God believer. And then in the evening, an old man came. And he came and he asked that people say that God exists, but I want you to help me to experience God. Show me how to experience God. And this time, Buddha didn't answer. Buddha went beneath a tree, closed his eyes, and went into deep meditation. The old man thought that probably this is the answer. He was an intelligent man, not an intellectual person. He immediately got the message, so he also went beneath the tree. He closed his eyes and went into deep meditation. After 15 minutes, he opened his eyes. He was happy. There was bliss. There was joy. He looked at Buddha and said, "Thank you. You have given me the answer. You have shown me the way. I have realized that to experience God, one has to meditate. One has to turn inwards. And I am so thankful that without speaking a single word, you have given me the greatest answer." And the old man, his eyes became wet. He was a man of heart. He was a grateful man. These kind of men are very beautiful, but they are very, very few. He thanked Buddha, he touched his feet, and he left. And while all of this was happening, Ananda was there, the close disciple of Buddha. Ananda said to Buddha, "I don't understand your answers, because in the morning you said to that man that there is no God. In the afternoon you said to another man there is God. And to this person you didn't answer. You didn't say a single word. You closed your eyes and you went into meditation. I don't understand your answer. Please help me to understand." And Buddha said, "The morning man was an atheist. The man who came in the afternoon was a believer, a God believer. But the man who came in the evening, he was a seeker. He wanted to seek God. He wanted to take the efforts. He was not just a kind of person who was happy in talking. He wanted to take efforts. He himself wanted to seek. So I thought, why not give him the real thing? And so instead of answering, I demonstrated the way through which God can be experienced. And Buddha said to his disciples, never ever entertain God believers. Don't waste your time in entertaining God believers. However, if somebody comes asking how to seek God, give your full time. And this is how the placement of Rahu in 12th house has the potential to give birth to God seekers and not just God believers. God believers don't want to take any efforts. And that's why they are always in search of some Masiha who will chew for them. But if I chew for you, then will that satisfy your hunger? It will not. You yourself have to chew it. You yourself have to walk the path. And that is why Buddha says, I want seekers and not believers. In this podcast, I have talked on the Rahu in 12th house, the remedies, but at the same time, I have also talked about the karma. There are two types of karma, prarabdha karma and sanchit karma. You will learn more about it as you listen to this podcast. So let's begin. Rahu in 12th house person wants privacy. Privacy is what this Rahu wants. Deep meditations, mantra chanting and spiritual inclination is what this Rahu signify. The native has much attraction towards foreign land. The person may be an expert in some foreign language. The subtle desire of this Rahu is to attain spiritual progress. If the sign lord of this Rahu is positive and connected with spiritual entities like Jupiter, Sun or Ketu, then the person indeed makes progress on his or her spiritual path. This Rahu is simply wonderful when it comes to imagination. Great movie makers like Steven Spielberg are born with this placement. When it comes to the power of imagination, how can we forget the great poet and Nobel Prize winner Rabindranath Tagore? Rabindranath Tagore also had his Rahu in the 12th house. However, in an evolved soul's birth chart, the soul essence of this placement is deep spirituality. Swami Vivekananda also had this placement. It is necessary to remember that every placement manifests based on the quality of the person, and the quality of the person is based on the quality of his or her thoughts. And the quality of thoughts is based on the level of awareness, consciousness. And so for an evolved soul, this Rahu placement can actually motivate him or her to focus and progress on the spiritual path. From the perspective of worldly affairs, this Rahu may bring certain sufferings in family life, but those sufferings can become the light of consciousness if the native is an evolved soul. The great spiritual master and guru of Paramahamsa Yogananda, Sri Yukteswar Giri, was also born with Rahu in the 12th house. He was also a great astrologer. He was the author of the legendary book, The Holy Science. His personal life suffered, but this suffering moved him towards the higher realms of spiritual consciousness. And a day came when he attained enlightenment. So this Rahu placement is indeed very, very special. In fact, a person with this placement considers himself or herself as special. And if other planets are placed well in the birth chart, then such a person indeed is a very special person. Wisdom is what these men seek, and they also succeed in attaining deep wisdom by self-realizing the many deeper aspects of human life. The remedy for Rahu in 12th house, that is to make this Rahu more and more positive, is by reciting or listening to Atharva Shirsha every day. Chant the holy mantra Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha for 20 minutes every morning and evening. And feed birds and fishes every Wednesday and Thursday. Always remember, the malefic results of Rahu will nullify as you start reciting the holy scriptures. When you recite with love and devotion, the mind becomes one-pointed, meaning it concentrates only on what you are reading, and with consistent reading or reciting of scriptures, you are able to control and direct your mind to the positive side of life. I remember long time ago, around 4 years ago, on LinkedIn, because during that time I was only on LinkedIn, and there was a beautiful person, and he was following me for a long time, and probably he was the only person who reached me on telephone. He called me, and then he said that he recites Vishnu Sahasranam, he recites many scriptures, and just by listening I can sense that what a beautiful person he is. This kind of passion, this kind of devotion towards reciting the holy scriptures is indeed a stepping stone towards a great spiritual journey. I really admire that person. Even today, he is in touch with me. Chanting is the next stage, wherein with constant chanting you start moving beyond the mind. Always remember, joy is always found when you are no more trapped in your mind. And when you feed, you are adding positive karma to the reservoir of your karma, known as Sanchit karma. Sanchit karma is your bank balance of all karmas that you did in many past births. Prarabdha karma is just a small part of Sanchit karma, and in this birth it is only the Prarabdha karma that you will face. In short, Sanchit karma is the whole book of your total karma of all births and rebirths, while Prarabdha karma is just a chapter of the book. By reciting and chanting, you improve your Prarabdha karma, and by feeding the poor, by feeding the animals and birds, you improve your Sanchit karma. See how deep and beautiful astrology can be. The annual transit of planets impact the Prarabdha karma, while the placement of planets in your natal birth chart signifies the Sanchit Karma. By doing the suggested remedies, you will be able to improve both your Sanchit Karma as well as your Prarabdha Karma. It all depends on how faithful, consistent, deeply devoted, and focused you are on improving the quality of your life. Always remember, the quality of life is not based on what mobile you use or what brand car you drive. The quality of life is based on the quality of your thoughts. There is a difference between standard of living and quality of thoughts. You may upscale your standard of living through money power, but you will be able to upscale the quality of your life only when you start focusing within, when you start focusing on your self-growth. It is only through the path of self-growth that you can improve the quality of your thoughts. And when thoughts start changing for good, life also starts changing for good. A thought is a thing. Focus on improving the quality of your thoughts. Start meditating, start chanting, and start helping those who deserve your help. Remember, my fellows, we are visitors on this planet. We are here for 90 or 100 years at the most. During that period, we must try to do something good, something useful with our lives. If you contribute to other people's happiness, you will find the true goal, the true meaning of life. Life is short, so get up and get going. My father died at the age of 47. So until the age of 47, he lived his life by devoting himself to books. He wrote several novels and books, and he was one of the famous journalists in Mumbai. He lived with Osho, he interviewed Osho, and he also was a great astrologer. But suddenly, at the age of 47, while he was writing an article, he died with a heart attack, a massive heart attack. And he was only 47. So life is short. You never know when the exit call will come. And so ignore all the negative men and women, my fellows. All these negative men and women are in your life just the way they are in my life. These people will always try to pull your legs. These people will always try to ridicule you. But all these people are going to go to hell. You know why? Because their negativity will drag them. It is an irony that many people who want to learn astrology, they comment so negatively, so cheaply. You tell me, will these people ever become good astrologers? Never. Because to become a good astrologer, you need to have a pure heart. You need a spiritual touch. I love you all who are following me so closely for so many days and months. God bless you. Focus on doing good for others. Always remember, if I do better than others, what difference does it make? However, if I do better for others, then that does make a lot of difference. If you have this kind of thought process, then let me tell you, nobody can stop you from becoming what you aim to become. Nobody can stop you from becoming a Buddha. Special is that man who does something good, something better for others. Such a man is of worth. Such a man is the future Buddha. Meditate. Jai Sri Ganesha. Jai Guru. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.